Check, check, check. You hear it? Yo. Yeah, okay, I got you.
Fight the power. Come on.
You need
Fight
to pull
the
yours
power.
closer too, because you look uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah. I got what grand in my dummy up buckle. Cool $250,000, my go yard duffel. I win the game, so you still gotta shuffle. Born with the drip and just learn how to hustle. Look at your bitch through these DR by focus. I get me some head, she been that shit over. They say lately I been looking like dollars. Pinstripe hot waters, I dress like a golfer. We riding foreigns, ain't no more Impalas. They ain't had no new bum, but I got baby bottles. Shopping at Barney, I drip like a model. Watch how I drip when I hit that Met Gala. Codeine, I sit with my load, don't get splattered. Doctor told me I got lean in my bladder. Run through this cash like family don't matter. I got your back, feel the same pain together. Pop out the tag, my palm and just swallow. Baby blue jet, make my mouth feel better. Fuck the snow bunny at my show at Coachella. VVS banding partners in my bezel. We move too fast, it can slime me as ever. Life is too grimy, y'all watch for the devil. It's a Rolls Royce and it come with umbrellas. 2018 in that Porsche Corolla. Go your power.
Good, y'all.
Rats in the quarter.
What's good? What's good?
MeLa-NaTiOn.
Already. So today we're going to touch on a very, very important topic that we think gets swept under the rug often, and that is the economics of where we stand, not only as Americans, but just as blacks as a whole.
But wait. First, we got to give our introduction, you know what I'm saying? As y'all know, I'm 40, also known as 40 the Great. Follow me at 4086 Grands.
He making me want to make up an alias, but I can't really do it. Yeah, I don't think I can say Lionheart. That's what my name means, Lion of Heart.
This Lionel X. This Lionel Malcolm
courageous.
X.
I am courageous. I have full courage, no fear. So yeah, I guess my name is good enough as it is. I ain't afraid of nobody knowing my government name. I die about this. So go.
Yeah, we here to talk to y'all about some Blackonomics.
That's right, Blackonomics today.
Black economics.
So I guess we're just gonna go ahead and try to segue into it. Today is gonna be an episode a little lighter on hitting y'all head so hard with the what y'all need to be doing. Just gonna talk about the money. So I'm gonna go down the list, telling you about the history of our economy, America's economy, where we at currently, and how we can diversify assets in the middle of this financial shitstorm that we are in. So I'm gonna start the history. In case y'all don't know, some people may know, any of our followers or people that are following. When America broke away from the gold standard in 1971 and switched over to what is called the petrodollar system, this was supposed to be where the paper dollars would be backed up and created to back up the gold. So the paper dollars are supposed to be backed in gold, and we're signed over to a central bank system, Federal Reserve. So in our history, there's been one president that fought against the Federal Reserve, and if you understand what the Federal Reserve is, it's a centralized bank system that we have been in since '71. It would have been a good thing if greed didn't take over, right? You have crooked politicians, you have the government structure, you have people in those leagues. Basically, imagine it like this: you have a credit card with an unlimited balance. You can just do whatever you want to do. And it was a system they knew designed to fail within 40 years' time. Hence, where we are now. We're pretty much there. This is why there's so much inflation. This is why there's so much high taxes. This is why we have a debt system like credit system. They've tried to use the credit system at a certain point to bleed the damage, slow the damage down when they start basically printing money with no conscience, with nothing backing it. So somewhere along history, our country was responsible with the task of holding the most of the gold since our dollar was in power. So what has happened is our country is hiding a very, very important factor. Where's the gold? Other countries starting to understand this. They're pulling away from our dollar as being the number one dollar. So if we understand that quick breakdown of history, fast forward to where we are now, our system is imploding. Our financial system is imploding on itself right in front of our eyes. And the message I want to try to explain to you all today is that we have to understand that in the aspect of where do we stand in preserving our wealth in it. So the question is like, what do we do? That's what I get constantly, because I don't like arguing with politics anymore. This is the big thing I'm on. We have to start protecting our wealth, diversifying our assets. So now that I gave you just a quick, because I don't want to go too deep into history, I'll be on here like 3 hours talking about breaking down exactly where it went wrong, where this politician did this, where this president did that and tried to stop the central bank. So I'm just going to lead into, just giving you some advice. And I'm going to put the disclaimer out there. I got to do this first and foremost. I am not a financial advisor. This advice that I'm going to give you is just my opinion of what I found in my research. What could help you, it could help you. Don't take what I say as law. I will leave my information to get up with me outside of the podcast if you want consultation or you want ideas or, the companies I shop with when I get into crypto and when I get into things like that. I'll provide that information off the air because I'm not here to tell you what you should do with your money. I'm just here to give you solutions that may help you. It has helped me. So leading into that, I'm going to go ahead and just start saying this small token. So right now, exactly where we are in history is that the central bank is starting to see that the system is being exposed. It's being exploded. It's about to explode on itself. Hence why we have such high inflation. And inflation is to the point that the last thing I checked into the news, the real news, I like to say, I don't follow CNN. Don't follow CNN. That's real advice. I ain't gonna lie to you. You can dox me for that if you want to, but CNN lies to us every day. Don't follow them for anything that's going on with the finance when they tell you they're part of the deep syndicate system to try to lie to us. But really what's going down is that we're to the point where they're about to reset the debt count. So to give you a little bit about that is that we're so far in debt with the central bank, trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, that they're seeing that the inflation is starting to be a complaint of the people. The people are starting to complain about this, right? So now we're to the point where it's like, what do we do to stop the bleeding? They're talking about resetting the debt count. Well, okay, if they do that, that's only going to be a temporary bandage to a problem that's already, we're scarred, we're wounded, we're bleeding, we're leaking out.
And it's too consistent, too.
Right. So if they reset that debt count, I'm going to tell you one thing that's going to go up. The cryptocurrency market is going to skyrocket. We're going to be on another hit where Bitcoin is going to rise up again. Because outside of their system, people have been, you've heard people talk about it. People have gotten rich off of it. More people are looking at cryptocurrency now more than ever. So if they do that, if they reset that debt counter, that's what they're arguing and talking about now, the central bank, is they got to find a way to try to hold us over, to not see this truth that the dollar is about to fade to the point where it's going to be bad. You take $100 into a grocery store to try to buy your groceries. A loaf of bread, really, just like the Bible prophesies, a loaf of bread may cost you $10, $20, for real. That's how bad it's about to get. I say, honestly, if I had to estimate it, in the next 5 years, it's going to be a major shift. This is what they're trying to usher us into, a fully digital system that they create and they control, which is why you've been hearing now. This is true news. They've been reporting to you about moving into an electric digital system of their own, but it's going to be still centralized under their umbrella. So this is what we're talking about. As black people, we have to understand, if we take that, we're submitting ourselves again into their debt system. We're in their system now. in debt. Dollars, bills ain't nothing but debt notes.
Let me ask you a question real quick back to crypto. I don't want to go delve deep in it, but do you think the reason why they're trying to rein in crypto is because it is untraceable?
Yes,
Okay.
it's what you call decentralized. And when we talk about that, that's why you keep hearing me say we're in a centralized banking system now. The Federal Reserve controls all the money. Basically, they've been lending our country those paper dollars, right, with interest attached. How they're getting it back is through us, the people, in blood, literally. This inflation we're going through is simple as food, the taxes we pay. That's how they're slowly paying on that debt. But you know we're out of control right now. They're giving billions over to Ukraine. They're just printing money. And the Federal Reserve's like, sure. Like I said, imagine you having a credit card with no limit.
And see, when you think about that, right, and you're like, where are you getting all this money from? Now you have to understand that there's two organizations that goes under the name the Fed. There's the Fed, that is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and there's the Fed, that is the Money Fed. The Money Fed works for the, as he spoke of, the centralized banking system of our country, and they pretty much, their job is to rein in anyone who's making over a certain amount of money who is not contributing to what they call the corporate economy. And the corporate economy right now is what is outshining America's banking system. That's why America is fighting very hard to keep all corporations within America, to legislate them under a certain process. That's why you see so many companies right now that get special tax breaks and so many other different kind of breaks, because they're trying to keep these companies with their businesses and their home base centralized in America, because that counts as America's total, you know what I'm saying, their total profit revenue count. You hear about how what people say, like, his overall is he's this wealthy, he's that wealthy. It's the same thing with America and the system and the way it works on the world scale, where America is only this wealthy based on the number of corporations we have now. So with all these corporations, they have to give them a certain segue of our freedom in exchange for them staying here, because if not, a lot of corporations can easily move to another country and increase that country's infrastructure and base and so forth and so on.
Yep. And so where we exactly are with crypto, to get back to it, is that it is it's a way out. It actually is a way out. So to go ahead and segue into my opinion of things to help you diversify your assets, crypto is definitely a good choice. Outside of that, you notice that a lot of the wealthy people are doing what? They're buying gold, silver. They keep on saying it's a barbarous relic, you know, why you want to buy gold? To suppress the average everyday man and woman for looking over there, because they know that that's never going to lose value. So my advice, this is my advice, invest in crypto as well as gold and silver.
Yep.
Get tangible, resourceable assets now. Start doing it now, even down to your food. Start buying food in bulk. Start doing all that, because the things that are about to happen, they can no longer put a bandage on the floodgates of this economy imploding when it comes to the money. I feel that it's going to get so bad that there will be people not able to feed their families if they continue to believe that the American dollar is going to be able to sustain. It's past sustainability. Like I said, to get back to my point, I just look into the real news. They're trying to find a way to stop the bleeding by resetting the debt count. If they do that, it's not going to be a solution. You're going to see things go down a little, but it's going to go back up faster. And I know it doesn't make sense, but that's the simplest way I can to get into detail of how it would go back up. I'm not going to just understand that if they reset that debt count, you're going to see things go down a little bit. Yeah, you are. But it's only to shield you from believing that you need to move your assets, start moving your assets over to other things, right? So what I'm telling you is, off the air, I have people I invest in with my crypto. I have places that you can buy gold and silver, good deals. Start diversifying your assets now, people. My brother's going to talk about Blackonomics and how we're going to economically empower ourselves as people. I just wanted to give you that short message of we need to start working to diversify assets. Yes, get into crypto. Start finding out the information you need to find out. Because the reality of what crypto is that they don't want you to know that if you were to take your paycheck right now and buy nothing but Bitcoin, put it all on Bitcoin, what you're essentially doing is that you're also investing your money in something that can yield you more. So if the Bitcoin market goes up because everybody starts realizing that, man, this inflation is insane, like American dollar is starting to fall, I'm going to start putting my money over here. So that's going to make Bitcoin go up. When Bitcoin goes up, say you just put your $700 paycheck on there, right? If it goes up $10,000 in value, whereas I think right now it's about at $19,000, right? It's worth 19. To get one Bitcoin, you have to pay $19,000, right? But if that was to go up right now to say $30,000 in the next 3 days, do you realize your $700 is not just going to be $700? It's going to be multiplied by whatever Bitcoin is. That's why they don't want you to know that. That's why they don't want you over there. Because when they can't keep the lid down on the American dollar and its devaluation, and things like crypto start going up, you see different cryptocurrencies going up, if you have money sitting there already, you're going to reap the benefits of it sitting there. So that 700 now turns into something like maybe like 1,500, 2,000. You know what I'm saying? Just off sitting right over there. And you didn't know that because you're not sure. You're thinking that it's like the stock market. It's not the same. They control the stock market, and they're trying to control the cryptocurrency market in a way to suppress it, because that's what they really don't want you, because the crypto market allows you to be your own bank. You're your own bank account.
Yeah.
You don't need a bank if you start dealing with crypto. Literally, your phone, your wallet, your money is protected. You're everything. And that's why they don't want us to know about it, because it being so not controllable. They can't even control your exchanges. Like if I send money to my brother right now, they can't mess with the trace. They can't go back and say, oh, no, we finna stop both of them from exchanging this money. It's protected. It's
Digitally protected assets. That's the goal.
So outside of that, I'm urging y'all to invest in crypto, as well as look into getting your own gold and silver. Black women, black men, when you get that tax money this year, try to buy you some gold and silver. I think right now gold is placed, I think the last time I checked, it was $1,700 for an ounce. About $1,700 for an ounce. Yeah. But I don't know, they don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere around there. It's up there. Yeah. It's somewhere around there. Yeah, I know. He gonna check the official price. We gonna get it, but yeah, it's not what you think. It's not expensive as you think.
And going to like a quick discussion right quick. Like when we talk about like and just to touch on that history thing a little bit. I'm one of the people who I like history as I'm like one of the historian type people who like reading about history and understanding where our history comes from. And when we talk about America's financial system, you have to understand like American economy is based on a misbalance. It's not something that can be stabilized to a point where it generally works and flows together, because our system works on the
1655.
Yeah, see, I was close.
1655.
I was close. 1655 for an ounce of gold right now.
1655.
Just to let you know, get that tax money. That's some. Just get you a couple of ounces, man. Y'all women got kids getting 6, 7 rack. Hey, man, take half of that and get you some gold.
Invest in some gold for its future.
17 is down $17.20 today.
Yeah, see, I was close. I was close. I know I was almost there with a guy. I'm glad for the accuracy. Thank you. I'm gonna be accurate. Hey. And yeah,
make sure we give y'all the correct information.
And I'm not to cut you out. I'm gonna let you get back to your point. Just explain, when you buy that gold, there's also ways to do it where you can set it up in an IRA account. Me personally, I have my silver. I only own silver. I'm gonna be honest. I only own silver. I have it in the safe. I want the silver delivered to me. I want it on me. You understand what I'm saying? I want to be able to say, okay, shit's hitting the fan. Dollars don't matter anymore. I have something to give you today, so I can operate in whatever system we fall on. So I think, honestly, my opinion, I think it's better to keep it with you. So wherever you go, your gold and silver is with you. So you can always trade it in at any point in time to get whatever you need. So
not just that, if you ain't gotta get out of here, you can trade gold. You can trade gold anywhere in the world.
Right on the spot. Right on the spot.
True, but jump back on the subject I brought up. The thing, what I like to talk when we talk about our financial history, it connects also to the history of our country, because the way our system works in America is based on checks and balances, and our economy is based on not ever being balanced. It has to work in one way or another. For example, if we have too much influx of products coming into the country as opposed to products going out to the country, it can either increase or decrease. I mean, it could cause problems or bring problems. But if we have an outflux of too much stuff going out the country, it could also jeopardize our economy. So we can't never have anything it's one way or the other. We have to stay in where it's just a little enough of this is going out and just a little enough of this is coming in. That way it sits in that little unbalanced harmony, but not for too long. It can never stay stable. And that's one of the biggest things about being in the American economy is like balancing, when it comes to balancing the checkbooks, one of the things that Bill Clinton did back in the day, which is why they appraised him for the real reason they put him in office, why everybody clapped their hands and stomped their feet for him, is because they wanted him to balance the checkbooks. Same thing they wanted Trump to do when he got in office was balance the checkbooks. But on the grand scale of our economic system, when it comes down to how the economics works in this country, is based on this unbalanced system, which is actually something that constantly puts us in jeopardy. We've hit what 2 to 3 fallouts now, almost back to back, and like less than decades apart. One happened back in the 60s. Yeah. Then now we had one like a few years ago, and now the time has gotten even shorter to now we're hitting another one now. So as we go on, we see that like the many times that we keep hitting these economic degradation points is getting shorter and shorter and constantly lasting longer and longer. So now we at this point where we're hitting another degradation point. And one thing I want to touch on for mine, because like he covered y'all on the financial side of things, so I'm gonna give y'all some of the more economical side of things. And when I talk about black economics, this is the isolation of our financial power into our own regulated structure of finances. This keeps money circulating with our own community and between us as a group, and while also being able to support us as a whole and legitimize our independence. And this is like one of the main things about our whole podcast. The reason we're called MeLa-NaTiOn podcast is because we're about our MeLa-NaTiOn, our nationness, our national identity, establishing ourselves as a people, a recognized people on the world stage. And so one of the biggest things is we have to start understanding all of this stuff. So this starts with understanding where we currently stand in America's economics, we're one of the biggest consumer groups. And like everyone understands we're consumers, but not at the point that we are consumers. And when I say that, I mean, when we look at ourselves as consumers, we're a consumer of a lot of byproducts of America, and we're also a byproduct of America, and we're highly exploited. So we're so much exploited ourselves in the hopes of going in the financial freedom that, in the hopes of gaining our financial freedom, we often have without first understanding what true financial freedom is. So what I want to relate to y'all is the whole idea of why we're pushing these ideologies. So to establish what we're going to establish as a nation, as a people, we need financial and economic literacy. Economics for us works by understanding the importance of having a skilled trade. And what I mean by that is, if you are a doctor, that's a skilled trade because people need doctors. If you are a farmer, that's a skilled trade because we need food, people need food. And these are things we need if we're going to be building a nation because people get sick and people are hungry. So there are two key things we're also going to need. We have right now so many people trying to be entertainers to the point we have too many entertainers. Everyone is a jester to this point. To me, is a jester right now trying to, be entertainment. We don't need that. We need more than entertainers. If we're to build up and establish ourselves as a united people, a nation that needs the recognition of being a nation. So when we get on this whole idea of economics, we need economic understanding. We need to get back to being the builders and designers. We need the doctors, lawyers. We need engineers and masons. I don't know about lawyers, but I'm just saying. Yeah. we need our engineers and we need masons and we need our master masons. We need all of our builders. And this is all within us. This is all things we have the skills and the ability to be and do. Like you look at a lot of our youth right now. For example, they're being pushed to become all these narratives, to be these characters, to be an athlete, be a sports star, be some kind of person who has to use little of their brain power and do more of their physical power. As a people, as black people, our greatest asset is not our physical ability, it's our mental ability. Because our mental ability is what allows us to push our physical ability to its very limits. And we have more mental power than any other group on the face of this earth. We have more ability to comprehend, understand, read, write, so forth and so on than most groups on the face of this earth. You can take some of the most ignorant of people and show them something, and they'll question it because they're smart enough to ask a question. But that's things that we have to come into our own understanding of. And it takes some people a long time to see that, like, I'm very intelligent. Like, I tell a lot of brothers, like, I had a brother riding with me in the car today. He said, I'm not no smart nigga. I said, hey. I said, don't say that. I said, you're a very intelligent man. You're intelligent enough to learn to listen. I said, that's something a lot of people can't do. Right. And he looked at me, he thought about it. He said, yeah, that's true, huh? I said, yeah. I said, so you're a very smart man. You have enough intelligence and smarts to listen to a conversation and understand what the direction of this conversation and the relevance of it to your own personal life and need. For example, like the brother that was listening to us when we was riding in the car, he heard our conversation. He said, man, I'm about everything y'all talking about. He said, that's exactly what I'm about. That's what we need. He said, we need our own independence. We need our own structure. We need to be able to deal with our own problems on our own terms and not have to deal with them on everyone else's terms because we're not in everyone else's situation. I said, see, bro?
Yeah, and he said something very important, too, that gets overshadowed. We don't even want to sit down and have the conversations.
Exactly.
My friend Tico, and shout out to you, Tico, man, wherever you at, man. He shared our last podcast with a female. She's of the LGBT community, and I ain't gonna lie. He immediately told me, she like, well, this really ain't my type of thing. You see what I'm saying? The conversation is real, and I get where she stands in all of this. But it's sad when you look at it that these type of conversations don't get the airplay. People are afraid, but they feel the oppression. They feel the financial strain. You know, she's up there, UPS, working with my brother up there. She's making okay money or whatever in her position. And that's all that matters, you know. At the end, it's like, as long as I'm good, you know, I can't worry, and that's where we keep on dropping the ball. The knowledge we giving you today about this financial stuff is not to be selfish, because I could be selfish and, you know, and come back to you when I got, you know, all this money, and you be struggling, be like, I want to listen to them brothers, man. They got all the money. They sitting there, you know, how did they do it? Well, I'm right here telling you that you need to diversify your assets. Open your mind to understand that we're at war right now. We're in an information war. We're in the war that the more information you have about what's going on, the better you stand and lead to survive for your family. And no matter how you try to run from it, duck and dodge, you can go and have fun. You can smoke and drink your life away and think that, you know, when all this settles, I'll be all right. No, we're really in a crisis situation right now with this dollar. Yeah. And they're not telling you because they don't care when you get put out your house. They don't care when the rent gets too high, you can no longer pay it. They don't care. They're trying to usher us in to a system that they can keep us controlled yet again. Yeah. That's all they care about is controlling you. Some of y'all not even going to be able to be controlled. Y'all going to be so poor because y'all not listening to these messages. And other people saying the same thing I've been saying, is that diversify your assets. Start looking into crypto. Start looking at gold and silver. Start looking at buying land if you got a lot of money you're sitting on. Get tangible things that can be of value when it hits the fan.
Yep.
You'll be better off, you know, for your family. And so you got to understand we're at war right now. This is real war.
Yep.
Real war.
Exactly. And get some equitable skills and trades. Like, once you have those equitable skills and trades, there's not going to be a moment or a time when you're not going to ever be not needed when you have those equitable skills and trades. Like, you look at a lot of young people right now, their situation is they're working these warehouse jobs. They're working these cotton fields, I like to call them. They're sitting there working in these cotton fields all day, and all they can do is work in these cotton fields. 5 to 6 to 7 years down the line, when someone asks them what can they do on their own, they can say, I could go work a job. I could go work for somebody else. I can pick up a box. That's not an equitable skill or trade. That's the basics of what anyone can do. So that devalues you. That devalues your human marketability, because now, when it comes to the skills and abilities you need to have to survive without having to depend on someone else having to hire you, you can't market that, oh yeah, I can pick up boxes. Anybody can pick up boxes. You say, oh, I can put them on anybody can put them on a conveyor belt. You do that enough, and that's all you'll have to yourself. But when you expand your ability, when you extend and learn and gain more knowledge, and you become a consumer of knowledge, consumer of skills, learning so much that you can't have a moment where you not, you know what I'm saying? You can go anywhere. there are brothers out there right now. Like when I was growing up, and I'm gonna tell a quick story right quick. When I was growing up in my hometown, a majority of the black men didn't have working hourly wage jobs because they did not want to hire them because they were black. So a lot of circumstance of a lot of black men was that they had to become builders. They had to be men who could paint, men who could put porches together, men who could fix toilets. These are all skills that they had to have that white people would hire them for. So they would be off working in the white community, painting their houses, fixing their toilets. These are all the skills that they were hired to do.
Right.
These are not skills that they had that no one wanted to hire them for at these white people sites, but they were skilled enough that people wanted to hire them personally and get them to do things. So they had to come up with hours. I remember I was one day sitting at a liquor store right around the corner from my grandma's house. I remember I was walking past and these two older gentlemen talking. They said, hey. They said, hey, come here. I said, hey, young brother, we got to go paint this house. I said, you want to make some money? I said, no, I was just going to take a walk and go to my cousin's house. But you know what? I want to make some money. I went with them and painted the house. I learned, and as I worked with them, they showed me the necessary skills in painting and learning how to paint the house properly and so forth and so on. And over that, I understood that, and that instilled in me the idea of understanding what a skill is and how useful having a skill can be.
Right, and I'm gonna just cut you off just a small second. They took that out of our school systems for a reason. If you pay attention, the school system is an indoctrination to make you just a slave, a worker, because they know that when they had skilled traits, the success rate was higher. They know how important it is to have trades in schools for these kids, and they choose not to do it because they want to indoctrinate us to be workers and follow, like, again, control. They want to control the economic structure of how even our race is designed in the whole grand scheme of things. Our schools are the worst because they don't even allow them to put traits in schools. If you literally go to other areas, the white, I hate to say it like that, but other areas where Caucasians are, wherever, they have skilled trades in their schools. Mm-hmm. We're forced to have parents to tell us that now, like, okay, you went through this BS high school, I hope you just get a trade. I want to push you this way. If you don't go to college for a trade, I'm going to tell you to go this way. Our parents don't even push us. They weren't even pushing us to do that. Because when they were coming up, they had that. They literally had that. They had wood shop class.
They had auto mechanics classes.
They had auto mechanic classes. That's why you got the old school dudes still able to work on all these cars.
Yeah. As an older person, I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. We had that in our school. I'm 52. Yeah. So we had that in our school. We had drafting for architecture. We had all those traits in our school in Chicago. But I want to throw a caveat into the trade part for you guys. Well, with you guys. I read a book called 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. Okay. And all those trade things they're saying is actually coming to fruition that a lot of those things are going away because automation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that we should suggest that they learn how to fix these robotic arms. They learn how to fix these autonomous cars. They learn how to do all this because, to be honest, I may not see it, but they are going to need people to do those things because the server at McDonald's is not going to exist no more. They're going to have a robot doing that. Right. The guy on the Amazon line, lifting boxes, that's going to go away. They're going to have people doing that. Automation is going to.
They already instilled that.
They're already doing that stuff. So I suggest we learn to trade on how to fix those things because those things are going to be. Sure, it's going to be automated, but it's going to break down. Yeah. It's going to need to be serviced. It's going to need to be the gears. Going to need to be oiled. So I think I agree with you guys. The trade is very important, but we need to start moving towards a technical advanced trades. Right. Yes, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And that's what I'm saying. In the totality of everything, that's good that everybody understands that it take a village. It's gonna take a village for us to get on the page. Yeah. Well, I may not have. There's other people that pitch in. It's all we trying to do. Yeah. And we talking about the economics and stuff. It's important. He's right. Yeah. We're in a technological world now. Learn to be the one that create the device, the robot, fix the robot. Learn to be the person that runs a whole warehouse based off robotics. Put your money into that. Or say, okay, we beat them to the punch. Let's beat them to the punch. Y'all still using humans. We got our first black warehouse serving like Amazon package handling. We use nothing but robots.
And see, that's like one of the things I want to see. And this one of the things I want. That's one of the things I want to touch on when I want to talk about our economic skills and trades. Like as we progress in the 21st century, we're going more toward technology, advanced technology, and to the point that now like they're trying to come up with ideas for concepts for creating living quarters on different planets and things like that. You see Elon Musk with the space race. You see everyone trying to goddamn come up with the best way to get into space without having to, with less fuel consumption and being able to travel and all that and so forth and so on. So as we move forward, we're getting into areas of like super science and all that type of stuff.
Yep.
But within our culture, within our black culture, we're still stuck at level 1. We're still, you know what I'm saying, we're still stuck down here at the bottom trying to fight to get to the point to get to the next point of understanding where they're at. And we're decades and generations behind. We're what technology is, because with technology is created and released it's released 7 years after it's created. Mm-hmm. So with black people, we're 7 years behind. So if we're 7 years behind and technology is 7 years ahead, that puts a 14-year gap within our existence. And every generation, like right now, like I went to my nephew's graduation. His school had robotics and stuff like that. I was interested that I brought it up because when I went to his school, they had robotics classes. And I was looking, I was like, and like this one kid, he's like, he kept calling his name. I said, this young man, I'm sitting there clapping for him like, this young man is impressive. I want to see, I want to see his future. Like, go ahead, young brother. And he's like, he's in all these different classes, and they're like, he's getting these Excel, these you know what I'm saying, little stuff they give you when you do super well. And you're like, oh, here's an award for this, and here's an award for that. He's been in this class, here's an award for this. I'm like, I said, this young man is a genius. I'm like, okay. But it's that kind of level of preparation that we need to see in the future, and things of that nature that we need to be pushing more towards as we grow. But also, that's why I say like we need to learn skills and understand like the equity of those trades and how we can market those trades, not just individually, but as a way to like sustain ourselves. Because the reason we talk about as Blackonomics, the reason we talk about Blackonomics like this is because of the simple fact that we, as we said earlier, we're a people, we're a group, we're a tribe. Right. No matter where we do or where we stand, we have to stand together. We can't be like them. We can't lose our humanity. We can't lose our human nature. We still have to care for the next person because we still have to protect ourselves and protect them emotionally, logically, and physically. You know what I'm saying? Not just from outside dangers, but from dangers within, from themselves. So we have to not lose our humanity the way everyone else in the world is losing their humanity. The way people can just sit there and turn a camera on as someone's being stabbed, murdered, and so forth and so on. So when we talk about learning these skills and these trades, developing these trades and skills that make you connected more to people, to learn to connect more with others around you. And when you do these business and you connect with these people, you gain that humanity feature. You see how your own people are living the circumstance of their situation and learning to care and respect them as much as they want them to care and respect for you. So when we talk about like everything we're talking about, when we talk about black economics and we're talking about all this stuff, we're still on that same path of unity. We're still on that same path of coming together. We're still on that same path of establishing ourselves as a nation people. And a nation of people that have to look out for one another like brothers and sisters. Because that's the reason they started first calling each other brothers and sisters back in the day, because we needed to establish that self-love, right? So in continuing this process of establishing that self-love, we have to establish our self-identity. And while we're establishing our self-identity, we have to establish things that we need to build upon for each other. Like when we create any kind of business, any kind of black business, we're able to see that this is something I can support, I can be a part of, I can help build, I can work with team, market, so forth and so on. Like you look at Slutty Vegan, right? Mm-hmm. She's become one of the biggest businesses in Atlanta, to the point that she's now expanding into different states. She's expanding all around Georgia, she's expanding different states. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people who are coming to Georgia. Like every time I'm literally in the line and there's someone from another state here, like, oh man, I heard about this place, I want to come here and eat this, that, and the third. It's to that level of where we will travel this far. If we are willing to travel this far to support one another, just imagine what we do if we're able to connect our communities and build it up as a nation, working together. Right. More than just, we hear something and we follow the social media standard. Instead of it just being that, we see and know of our own people who have stuff. Not just people that are this far away, but people locally, family members, cousins who are established and building things. We support that, we build that, we respect that. We give that just as much energy as we are willing to give to anybody else. Like I know a lot. I hear a lot of people say, that, you know, people always go out and support somebody else's business before they support family members. But let's change that. Let's start supporting those family members. Let's start supporting all these different types of business. Instead of being the first person to denote their business, how about being the first person to goddamn sponsor their business? Be the first person to goddamn spread the awareness of their business. Like, hey man, you know my cousin do this. Hey, you know my uncle do that. You know, I know a couple of mechanics now. My cousin, my brother, my sister. Who you need? Yeah. He's a Ford, he's a Chevy, and he's a Dodge.
Right.
What you need? We have to get back to that mentality. That's the mentality that gave us the structure and strength back in the day when we didn't have anything. When we first started establishing our own communities and we started building that first level, we started getting that first level of black wealth. We had our own communities. We had brothers, sisters, cousins, aunties, uncles, friends, family members, people who had skills that they taught other people with their skills, and they built and they established, cutting trees down, building houses, creating stores, windows, people who had all these different skills and trades coming together to build all this stuff for the community. So we need to reestablish that kind of connection within our community. So that's why we're establishing this now. So when we talk about Blackonomics, we're talking about the things that affect us, not just monetarily and in front of other people, but what will affect us in our households, in our day to day, because it all connects. And it's like, I'm sorry if I get real passionate about this shit, cause you know what I'm saying, this, you know what I'm saying, this is stuff that
we gotta also have, we do have to have the businesses, but we gotta have the businesses that also fills voids and needs.
Yes.
We gotta also have financing for those businesses to start, because a lot of us run into problems with just financing itself.
That's what.
And I think that what we need to have, we got all these millionaires and billionaires that are black. They need to start doing stuff within all the communities and start building together, because I said a long time ago when they were doing distribution with this record label and that record label, I said, when they all rich, they can distribute this stuff themselves. And they can do away with the record label and do it themselves, because to be honest with you, they don't need them. But I think a lot of times we get confused and we say, well, if I do that, it's going to be less money for me. No, it's not, because every artist has their own audience. Every artist has their own people that want to listen to that particular music. So if you all come together, you're still going to get just about the same amount of money. It's just not going to be. It's just going to be one label, one distribution. But that was a while back. But I think a lot of times we need to fill voids. Black businesses need to start filling voids that, you know, a lot of other businesses do, and it needs to be just more than just one. See, that's the problem we're running into. We have we have a bunch of black businesses. Don't get me wrong, and they do great jobs. I'm not gonna ever slander a black business, but at the same time, they need to fill those voids. They need to look at what's needed in the black community. Where's the black person going? Like we had a lady who started her own hair, shop. Those things are stuff that needs to be. Those voids need to be filled. And if we are going to shop black, we got to fill those voids. We got to see. We got to do the Krogers and the gas stations and stuff like that. And we got to figure out how these people are being able to open these gas stations within our community. Because if they can do it, we certainly can do it. But we also need the same amount of financial backing that they have. And I think that's what holds us back a lot of times is the financial part.
And that's what business. You saying away with me right into the other part I was going to say. I have information on how to get approved for the loan. It's money out there. Is that you have to meet the requirements, and a lot of times, us as blacks, the first thing we screw up is our credit. Very, very first thing. As soon as we out the porch, we get that car, the first car, we go and get the high note. Years later, we were not able to keep the car, or even worse than that, we're evicted out of our first couple of apartments, and we never go back and truly repair our credit. We keep on saying, well, when I get this amount of money, sometimes your credit is so easy to repair. You wouldn't even be surprised. You just have to go into it and look what really is on there. So there are people that are willing to lend us money, different agencies, with people with just fair credit. You don't even have to have a perfect credit score. They give you a $10,000 loan to start a business. But how you flip and make that, you don't take that loan and blow it. You take that loan and invest in the stuff, I'm telling you, tangible things, and then you use the other part to do your business. My goal at the end of all this, when I get to a certain amount of level of money, I am going to be that. I'm going to be a black lender. I'm only going to lend to black business owners and help That's what I want to do. I want to create a black financial institution to lend, to help entrepreneurs get their business off the ground. Of course, you're going to have to come correct and all that, but you're not going to get a hard no because your credit score is not where it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to work with you and figure out a way I can give you something to go toward what you're trying to do.
Yep.
You know, I might not be able to give you the $50,000 loan, but I might be able to give you 10 and let you start there and do some groundwork.
That credit score is a prison too, but we'll get to that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
Most
It
definitely
is.
is.
Most definitely is. But I'm here to tell you, on the flip side, there are, and that's why I say outside of this, I'm not going to give all the game on here because I don't want you, I'm not here to advise you financially. I'm just here to give you options. And there are lending institutions right now that you don't even have to have a 700, 800 credit score. You just have to meet certain requirements and have a fair score. And you're okay to get that first loan to catapult you into where you're trying to go. But you got to be willing to do the work. I had to sit down and do the work. I had to go and look. That's what I'm saying. That's the other issue I have with us as a people. We sit up there and cry, well, I can't do it. I don't see, my credit's messed up. But are you doing the work to fix it? Are you doing the work to get to the point to play it? Because it's a dirty game that we in. It's a dirty game, but we still have to play it. I still got to play. Yes, I have to still go to work. Just like I said in the first episode, I am a regular nigga just like y'all out there, man. I clock in on work third shift. I'm providing for my family the best way I can. I'm just getting to the point where I'm learning the financial literacy, learning where to take some of my check and do this, learning where to invest my extra in instead of just spending it on good times. And that's a lot of things. We try to enjoy life so much sometimes we are missing that. Right now, this is the most critical time to start saving money, to start being disciplined with your money, to start investing your money.
Like a big point on that is like all these little trips y'all like taking all the time. You want to take every other day. You want to take every other weekend. You want to take every time you get some time off. Like for what? What is it doing besides putting you more in debt and in more of a situation? You take a trip, you come back, now everything's messed up because you got to remake all the money you just spent. So now you're down, not up. So, but if you took that money and you set yourself a financial standard of like, this is what I'm gonna do with my money. I'm gonna establish this with my money now, so that it will double and triple. Then, when I have tripled it and quadrupled it, so it can cover anything I've lost, I'm gonna take my trip. You don't have to take a long trip. Just take you a trip. It's a small trip. Like, what happens with a lot of us is, what's happening right now with all of us actually is the comfort zone. Being within this comfort zone, this comfort zone that we're okay when everything's falling apart. We're okay when we're not in a real good situation. We're okay when we're really not, and it's getting to the worst of points now. Like I've met so many, I'm be upfront. I drive a lot. I drive around the city a lot. I meet a lot of people, and so I speak to and I tell people when I talk to people, I listen as well, and I hear these people in their situations. There's so many women right now, and and men as well, that are in a disproportionate situation of being out of a home, out of a place to stay, out of a place to live, and that's all because they don't have the financial literacy, the financial awareness, the same things that we're talking now, to the point that now when it comes down to it, they're out here begging on the street with their kids. They're out here begging on the street with all their children sitting in the truck, all they got left. They're out here, goddamn, I gotta, saying, look, I'm just trying to get a little bit of money for this hotel room because, it's running out of time and I gotta go to work this day and that day and I didn't make the money to pay for the hotel this week. But, please lend me some money. Please, if you got $2, $3 to spare for me, give it to me. And it's like, well, sister, I hate it. And some days when I do have cash on me, I say, here you go, sister, you can. Other days, I'll be like, do you have a cash app? I'll cash it up to you. If you don't, I right now I can't help because I don't carry cash on me. You know what I'm saying? And it's becoming so massive and so consistent now that like every time, a lot of y'all see it when you drive around Atlanta. Every time you stop at a stoplight, somewhere in the city where you stop where there's a light sign, somebody's right there on the corner. Please help me.
Yep.
Please help me. I am struggling. I am this, that, and the third. And it's like, how do we prevent ourselves from going to this point? How do we work to making sure we never have to hit this low point again? Because here we are in black people in a black city, in a black city. I'm gonna put quotations on that, Mark, because you know what I'm saying. Atlanta's changing dramatically, but here we are in a black city, and all these black people are struggling. And like one of the things that my friend brought up, which I want to talk about, is like is the way the economic system works with the job system and structure.
For us to fail.
Yeah, it really is, because like you have so many people, and I know everyone has this story. You worked at a job, you had a great job, you like doing it, but you wanted to goddamn do more. But at the same time, there's so much pressure put on you. There's so much pressure put on you for irrelevant things that are not even that serious, but people are putting pressure on you. And then you get agitated, and then you get mad, or you might have a day where you're just not your day, and you get into it with one of your managers over something small, something petty. They could have overlooked it. They could have walked past it, but they didn't want to. They want to keep pushing you to the point that they want to bring you into the office and get you terminated. And for what?
Right.
So they can feel better about themselves, right? Why persist in a situation like that, right? When we're all stuck in the same situation. Why hurt someone else in order to make yourself feel better, because your situation isn't going to change after you hurt them? There's no promotion in there for you. But now you damaged someone else, and now you've created another person who's going to be out here just as everyone else, working, begging, having to struggle. And it's a continuous circuit. So why do we keep persisting in having a community like that where we're constantly trying to hurt our own? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen people say, yeah, you know what I'm saying, I'm glad I fired this person and that person. Why? Why are you glad that you just destroyed someone's life? Do you feel empowered destroying your own people's life? I used to work warehouse. And I'll tell you, like, as many times as I've sat there and I've listened to my managers talk, and I just sit there and I'll be like, for what? What's the point? What's the end game? And they look at me and say, what you mean? I'm like, what's the end game? What did you get from that? You're like, nothing. He just, I'm like, how you know he wasn't a good worker? Because, like, from what I observe and from when I'm actually out there working, when you're not, because you're sitting up here goddamn cackling, kicking your feet and high-fiving each other over bullshit, I see motherfuckers working. I see a lot of people doing work. I see people that y'all goddamn say not doing work doing more than most. But here we are in this circumstance and situation where you're so worried about what you see in your one little moment that you don't see the whole picture. You didn't see the whole thing that's going on. I've seen people working and they stop for a breath, and the manager walk by and say, hey, you ain't been doing that for the last 20 minutes. Like, that's a goddamn lie. This man been working his ass off. I've had moments myself when I've been at a job and I've turned around and the manager might have goddamn been up in my face. You know what I'm saying? And trying to give me this whole detailed story. Oh, you're not working hard enough. You're not pushing yourself enough. You're not killing yourself for these people. Why would I kill myself for these people? They're not paying me enough. When you look at the wages right now, they're not paying people enough. And when it comes to, when we talk about money and all this stuff, it's because we're at a point where the economical structure of this country is not working to the benefit of the people it wants to support it. It wants supporting it.
The power is in your talents too. I mean, cut you off, but the truth is that a lot of us as black people don't realize that's where our potential is in our talents. And that's it's crazy because my baby mom has just recently told me that. And it stuck with me because I had always thought about what am I really good at. I've lived my whole life being good at many different things. Like I was good at sports. I was good at art. I went to college to do, art. And I mean, I was good at music. I write, R&B. I love R&B music. Some a little bit about me, but I have so many talents, and I never capitalized on all these different talents in my lifetime of where I'm at now. And now I'm starting to realize that's where your power is. That's where your money is. So when we work these jobs, we should go into it. You have to understand who you are, know where you are in life. If you have a talent or a skill that you think you can be really good at and make money off of it, that job should just be used as a stepping stone to get to where you want to go. Because there's nothing wrong with working jobs. There's nothing wrong with being a servant to a job. Just understand that if you know that you want more, you want to diversify, you want to be more, you have to start investing in yourself. You got to be willing to invest in yourself. And that's where I think goes over a lot of our heads. We get too caught up in being a slave to that clock. You know what I'm saying? We start telling our stuff like, well, I want to do this. I want to get to that point, but I just don't know. Right now, my rent's due. I can't see a chance where I can put some money over there. No, you have to start budgeting. You have to start planning, proper planning, and execute. we don't execute, and it's a lot of times in life as black people we don't execute financially.
And I want that may actually give me an idea, because like, not give me an idea, but it's something that I thought about myself, and like it led me to this idea, right? Like we get put into these positions because like the current American economic structure for us is livestock. Like they treat us as livestock. Like the jail prison pipeline establishes more than just a deterrent of our own independence. It strikes at the very core of our being. Right. You know what I'm saying? It takes everything away from us. A person may spend decades dealing with one situation, then while some of it is used as a tool of oppression to the other, myself, I've been dealing with situations in which it's taking me more time than I wanted to spend on it. But it's simply because of the fact that they've toppled so much stuff on top of the situation, making it from something as small as just stopping for a ticket to being that they want me to go and take majority of my time and be committed to something that they need and this, that, and the fourth. Like, you know, and when it comes down to it, you need to be able to put more time into, all right, I need to be able to put more time into earning my income and building my business and establish myself. But here I have to take most of my time and dedicate it to this one moment that they could have just said, hey, look, here's a fee. Mm-hmm. Like and that's gonna be always my standpoint on that. Hey, instead of goddamn wasting our time with a lot of stuff, they could just say, hey, here's a fee. Like I'd rather they hit me with a regular old fee than just goddamn be constantly badgering me to waste my time on things that it doesn't make me no income. It doesn't help me earn no money. You got me out here working and spending all this time where I could have been at work earning an extra income to put away so that I don't have to work with these people no more, and I can establish something for myself. You know what I'm saying? I can establish myself a safe income to where y'all ain't got to worry about me no more, because guess what? I'm just going to be over here. I'm going to be off to the right. Y'all do your stuff on the left. But the way America's economic structure is set up for us in general, they put us in positions to where we can't say no. We can't walk away. We can't just
don't give us the knowledge. Don't give us these tips, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't give us this tip. Like
resources.
Like what I'm telling you right now about the crypto and gold. You don't have a talent, right? You're not good at anything. You're that person. You don't know where you're going. You're investing in yourself still. This having that gold and silver sitting up when shit really hits the fan, you straight. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have no talent. I ain't good at nothing. I was just a single mom, whatever. All I did was work my job. I just listened to a little bit of advice. I put tangible assets back. Now I'm wealthy, where I never thought I'd be wealthy. Exactly. I invested in the crypto. It went from here to here, and I just happened to have a couple of $1,000s sitting over there. And now I don't have to worry about where I'm going to stay. I got a new place. Mm-hmm. Still working, still being. So I'm saying, all this is a circle thing. You can be a worker, but you got to understand the game, what we play. That's why I said the game is dirty. You got to understand where you are in the scheme of it. Mm-hmm. I would love to see all the empowered black people, chasing their wildest ambitions, those business owners. But we got to be realistic. This is why I'm also going to cut you. But I think it's important to talk to that regular person out there right now that don't have that vision. All they know is, all I know, I go to work. That's all I was taught. So this is why I'm giving you this advice, that just start protecting your assets, investing in things. So you don't know nothing but work, but you can invest in your own future. Yeah. Till you decide what you want to do, or never decide. Just die with a little wealth on you. You know what I'm saying? With a little bit of money on you, or whatever. There's ways, no matter where you stand in the geographic of this. You're either a black man or woman who's talented, needs that loan, needs to figure it out. This information helps you. You're the black man or woman that doesn't know where she's going or he's going. This information helps you. Invest in yourself. Diversify your assets. Look into gold and silver. Don't take my word for it. Do it for yourself. Look at it for yourself.
Pick up some skills, talents, and trades.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These are all things that you can benefit from no matter what. You may look at a skill today and say, well, I found it useless, but you may find that it relates to a lot of things that you didn't think it related to. It may help you out in ways that you may never thought of helping you out. There's nothing that happened. I want to say this. There's nothing that you don't know that you're never going to not use. A lot of people say, like, say, I ain't never used math. That's a lie. You probably use math every day. I mean, I know if you smoke weed, you use math every day. Because if somebody tell you want a gram, you gonna be like, oh shit, no, this you gonna like, nah, by the hand weight of this is not a gram, sir. This is 0.8.
Right. How you know what a gram weighs? Just your hand.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna use it somewhere someday. You be like, you know, if I ain't new to a math class, he would have told you, he could have gave you anything he told you was a gram. He could have gave you like, bro, that's a whole gram, bro. You paying for it right now. You be like, nah, bro, by the measurement and size of this is not a gram. By the weight of this, you know, you gotta put it by the weight of this. But it's just everything you learn in your life, you're never gonna not use it. But my biggest thing is always take time to strengthen it, reinforce it, look at it, observe it, understand it from different perspectives. Help your mind grow about your determination about what it is you're trying to do. And like he said, like when you learn all these things, you're able to look at things from a whole new perspective. You're able to gain interest perspective and widen your scope. You know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of our issues.
You know what I'm saying? You're able to goddamn diversify your bond. I said Wu-Tang, diversify your bonds, nigga.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy too. And to get to the point of what we always gonna always drive home with every podcast. This is a podcast to open your mind, widen that scope. There's too many times when we talk about these finances, when we talk about all that stuff, you weren't taught, you wasn't given a chance, and it's not your fault. We were born into an oppressive situation. We were born without having the knowledge. You have to go seek it. You have to, that light bulb has to go off for you. Whatever your precipice, it's different for everybody. Like, I can't tell you what's going to work for you to realize the stuff that I'm saying is going to wake you up. You have to wake up when you're ready. I just hope that you do it before you lose everything. You know, for me, I've always thought outside the box even when I was a little boy. I never had that problem. I always looked at the neighborhood I grew up in. I looked at the pain. I saw, you know, us fighting over meaningless things. I saw other friends being abused at home by their mothers and fathers. And I always had a heart to want to see change in our communities and better. So some of this stuff, you know, it's not about only empowering us. It's about building us back up the damage that was done. But you got to want it. You have to want to break out of this cycle. You have to want to wake up out of this matrix and unplug yourself from it. Because you see what's happening staying in their system. You're still in debt right now. You still probably living paycheck to paycheck. You don't got nobody showing you a way out. You hear things. You don't want to take a chance and jump off the porch for yourself. But you'll spend extra money on frugalist things, your weed habit, your drinking habit. All that little bit of money, you can put, most crypto, to be honest with you, they have a $50 minimum to start. $50. You spend $50 on fast food and weed probably right now. Every paycheck, every Friday, you spend at least $50 on that.
Understand?
Easily.
And this is one of the biggest things you have to understand. Money is a tool. It's a tool. It serves a purpose. It's not God. It's a tool. There's no need for you to worship it. There's no reason for you to be super pressed about it. We all have the understanding that we all need it. But have the understanding that it's a tool. It serves a purpose. It's not something that you can ever control or take with you when you die. So understand that making it, exchanging it, and trading it is all a part of the programming. It's all a part of the process, not the program. It's all a part of the process of what its purpose is, because it's a tool. And what we're trying to do is make sure you have more of that tool, more of that resource at your disposal. Not just for like trips and all that other stuff and just for the fun shit, but for the serious shit. For when things hit its lowest point. Because right now, we're in situations, when you look at and watch the news and you hear about all these different situations in the world, the reason you're so pressed about these situations is because you don't have the resources to survive if things go sideways. So what we want you to do and understand is that we're providing you knowledge, information that you can research and investigate yourself to find better ways to benefit you, so that when you hear about all these crazy situations, you don't have to feel like your whole situation is in dire circumstance. They don't have to make you feel scared or feel threatened. You look at the situation and you say, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? You like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. My money is over here. I got money over there. I got stuff over here. I got stuff over there. That ain't got nothing to do with me. So if they want to go to war tomorrow with whoever, we going to send them the president. You know what I'm saying? If they want to come, hey, look, when they want to go to war with us, look, take the man you want. You just want him, take him. Right. That ain't got nothing to do with us. We'll replace him. We'll replace both of them. Here, take his secretary. Take her too. Take both of them. Yeah. But we can take our stance on issues like that. We can take our stance on, and my biggest thing, our amendment rights, our giving rights, because you know what I'm saying. When you have your resources backed up to a point, we can all stand together and say we don't have to tolerate certain things anymore because we all have the resources at our own disposal, and that's one of the things that they're trying to prevent. That we all need you to know. Now, this, my bad. This is the MeLa-NaTiOn podcast, and I'm your co-host, 40 Grands, and this is my co-host,
Lionel the Lion. I guess I'll say it like that.
Right. Hey,
I don't have a strength, so Lionel the Lion. We can call me that.
And we are always gonna keep it with you. And like 100. I always say, we're gonna stay on their motherfucking ass.
Always.
So shoot, if y'all enjoyed, tune in. Make sure y'all like.
And one last thing, like I said, I'm open for any advice you want to hear about what I do with crypto and what I do, the places I buy gold and silver. I'm all but willing to share you a method. It's just a method. You can take me up on it or not. Just know I'm on the path. Exactly. I work just like you. I'm doing it piece by piece, check by check. I'm taking money and moving it. So no, I'm not wealthy. I'm not going to tell you I'm not wealthy. I'm not going to tell you I'm wealthy. I'm going to tell you that I'm learning to get comfortable in this because I understand the game that we're playing. Diversify those assets. If you don't remember anything else outside of all we talked about, start diversifying your assets.
Exactly.
Get into crypto, get into gold and silver, research this stuff. Don't take my word for it, just do it for yourself. Because there is a storm coming, and if I was, like I said, I'd be on here 3 hours straight to tell you the politics of what's going on behind the scenes. It's so much battles they fighting about this money behind the scenes because they're just trying to usher us into a new system that they control us yet again. You want to be on top of the game. You don't want to be controlled.
Make sure you let them know how to connect with you.
Connect with me right here on Instagram, Red Boy for Life, Facebook, my regular name, Lionel Gant Jr. Yes, I'm a junior. I don't have no shame in my government name. I don't have nothing. That's how you connect with me. Outside of that, those are the best two ways. And contact me on those to get my phone number to talk outside of, online. Because I really old school. I'd rather talk to the person directly. Mm-hmm. All that DMing and stuff like that, I'm not really into that.
Yep. And she was, as usual, this is the MeLa-NaTiOn podcast. Peace.
Peace. I am Professor X, the Overseer. Blessings and all greetings in every language of blackness. If you have truly taken a ride aboard the Pink Caddy, you beyond a doubt have realized that you are one of the original sons or daughters of God. This must not be taken lightly. Because of this realization is one of the keys to our people's liberation, ultimately molding an Armageddon. In observation and intolerance of the shackled state that blackness is in, a step has been created, the Black Watch movement. Black Watch is a spearhead movement adding on to the weapon called Black nationalism. You must realize that this weapon of the old and new generation can accept nothing but focused energies concentrated towards our freedom as a people or our death in the struggle. This oath, freedom or death, keeps us